Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! With over 60,000 channel views happening as of this morning for this YouTube channel, I am your host, Jonathan Clarke, your voice of Descendants of Zombies. It's just after 8:35 a.m. this morning, and I am on my show talking about Descendants of Zombies for each and every one of you. Dedication personified. I am a YouTube creator who loves to talk about Descendants of Zombies, and I love to talk about it for the value behind the product, because there really is a huge value and a passion that goes with talking about Descendants of Zombies. And if you don't show up on your YouTube channel with that passion to talk about Descendants of Zombies, then your purpose is pretty much defeated. I think that there are way too many critics talking about Descendants of Zombies on YouTube, and I wanted to do something about that. So I wanted to create a bunch of really great videos for you guys about Descendants of Zombies, and I like to believe that I've fallen through on that promise, because if you throw yourself back to just last summer, I showed up on YouTube on my very first video, and I promised you a lot of Descendants of Zombies videos, at least one every day, and I have fallen through on that promise. And I wish more YouTube creators would have fallen through on their promises, creating videos on, say, the Worlds Collide Tour, which was an emotional time for everybody this summer, because we were a part of something special, and I felt like I was a part of something special with each and every one of you. I felt like it was a moment in time that I just wanted to get lost in. I loved every performance of the Worlds Collide Tour. I loved Freya Skye showing up with so much emotion, just so happy to be there. And if there was one star of the Worlds Collide Tour that deserved the spotlight in every moment that she was in it, it was Freya. Freya is somebody who I am falling in love with more and more every day. I have to be honest with each and every one of you. So because I'm falling in love with Freya more and more every day, then you can guarantee yourself that there will be a lot of videos about Freya Skye showing up on this YouTube channel, and she will get the support that she needs and she deserves. Because I think that when a star goes out of her way to connect with her fans and to show appreciation for each and every one of you, she deserves to be put over. She doesn't deserve to be criticized. And I feel as if, as a star of the Zombies franchise, she has seen her fair share of criticism early on in her career. She's only 15 years old, but she has a lot of promise associated with her. And I'm really looking forward to the future of Freya, carrying on the legacies of the Zombie stars Mila Manheim and Meg Donnelly, Zed and Addison, who offered so much to the Zombies franchise, and she wants to do the same. And she wants to honor the legacies of all the Zombie stars and the Zombies franchise, which I have a profound amount of respect for. I love the performance of Gold's Gone. I love the concert music video that I've seen 100 times over the last couple of days at the Zombies Worlds Collide Tour. They made a music video of footage of the Worlds Collide Tour for Gold's Gone, and it's beautiful. It has, like, I don't know, 250 likes, 50,000 watches on YouTube. It's crazy. But the collaboration of this music video really just showed the passion that Freya Skye had for performing. She always had a smile on her face every single time she stepped through that curtain, and I think she was really the star of the show. She was really somebody who stole the show at the Worlds Collide Tour. And tonight's final performance of the Worlds Collide Tour, its grand finale, is something I would love to be in the presence of each and every one of you for. To experience your emotion, to experience the fun that you're going to have. I think that's really what I got the most enjoyment out of watching the Worlds Collide Tour this summer. I know I watched it on YouTube because of no Canadian dates, but if there had been Canadian dates for this tour, I would have been front and center. I would have been center stage for the Worlds Collide Tour, because I always wanted the opportunity to dance on stage with a bunch of zombies. It looked really fun, honestly, and I think that this Worlds Collide Tour is probably the best concert performance that Disney has ever collaborated. I think that the talent was overflowing with emotion. There was a reason to be excited if you were going to the Worlds Collide Tour this summer, because you were going to be in the presence of all your favorite stars. You were going to get caught up in the moment, and that's what everybody did. And I give you guys a profound amount of credit for showing up at the Worlds Collide Tour with your hearts, and you really showed support and love for your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars, which is more than I can say for the critics who showed up at the Worlds Collide Tour with the sole purpose of criticizing the franchises. And I just wanted to do something about that, because I felt as if there were a lot of people on YouTube who were criticizing the Worlds Collide Tour who didn't seem to know the first thing about Descendants of Zombies. Descendants of Zombies is more than just a franchise. Descendants of Zombies is a passion. Descendants of Zombies has inspired millions of people to better themselves, to be kinder to each other, to become friends with more people than ever before. And I've always believed, and I've loved the franchises for how they've inspired us to become friends with more people than ever before, because some of the most beautiful friendships of all time have happened for Descendants of Zombies, like Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson from years ago. I remember the passion behind their friendship and how close they were and how close they became. Because, of course, Sophia Carson's first major role in a Disney movie, the Disney franchise Descendants, gave her the opportunity to bring this character Evie to life with no backstory whatsoever. And with Dove Cameron's help, she was able to bring it to life. Because Dove Cameron had this unique way of separating character traits, which is something I give Dove Cameron a profound amount of respect for being able to do, because she had to play the double life, of course, on Liv and Maddie. So in order to play a double life, you had to separate your characters with character traits. So she would take the time to sit down with the producers and the writers of Liv and Maddie, a show originally sketched to be Bits and Pieces. That's what it was going to be called. Of course, she inspired them to change the name of the show after it had been originally sketched. And she sat down. I remember her sitting down with each producer and saying, okay, this is how we separate Liv from Maddie. This is how we separate Maddie from Liv. And two different beautiful characters were created. And she did the same thing with this Mal character, along with offering inspiration to people like Sophia Carson, who really wanted to bring it to life. And as a result of this, we had a beautiful friendship. And then years later, here come Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker with a beautiful friendship, and it's been constantly put on display. And I give her a profound amount of credit for really, putting everything going on in her personal life aside to really bring this character Red to life. And this friendship between Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker, off of all the rumors that people have created off of this friendship, of course, this was to be expected. But I think that Kylie Cantrell deserves anything but criticism. So I just wanted to, come on YouTube. I just wanted to show Kylie Cantrell there are nice people on YouTube who have nothing but good things to say about her, and I'm one of them. I say this because I'm the biggest Kylie Cantrell fan in the world and the biggest supporter of Kylie Cantrell. I will die forever and always a supporter of Kylie Cantrell. And I know somebody watching this video this morning is a supporter of Kylie Cantrell. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video, because you love Kylie Cantrell for her music. Songs like Goodie Bag, Denim, See You Tonight, and songs off the Rise of Red soundtrack like Red, which was a very powerful song, a very powerful way of opening up the Worlds Collide Tour. Of course, they opened up the Worlds Collide Tour off the introduction of the cast that were individually done by each other. I found that to be a really cool way of opening up the show, because it really showed how much of a friendship existed between each individual cast member, especially the friendship between Malachi Burton and Freya Skye, which I love dearly. I really do love their chemistry on the set of Zombies. I love their chemistry on the set of the Worlds Collide Tour, because they were so close. And when you see a close-knit bond between two people, you know it's really going to go the distance and really stand the test of time. And I loved every performance they gave us as part of a duet for the Worlds Collide Tour for songs like Dream Come True, Someday, which was a song that was never originally written for them to sing. But again, the stars really did show dedication to their roles, because it's one thing to sing songs specifically written for you off the Descendants soundtrack, but then to take songs from Descendants to Zombies that weren't previously written for you, written for Mila Manheim and Meg Donnelly, like Freya Skye and Malachi Burton had the responsibility of doing. They did a fabulous job. From song to song, from set to set, it was beautiful. And I think that the second leg of the Worlds Collide Tour is going to be something to be really excited about, because this one is going to be heading overseas. So not only are they going to tour in the United States, they are also going to tour in the United Kingdom. They're going to tour in parts of Australia and Germany. And for those of you who don't know anything about Germany and Australia, they are beautiful places. The hospitality over there is amazing. And I think we're going to see the best work ethic ever exemplified from a cast of Disney stars ever before, because I don't even think Hannah Montana and the Jonas Brothers ever had opportunities like this. Sure, they had opportunities to perform in front of the United Kingdom crowd, but never to the capacity that we're going to see for Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour. Now, the rumors are saying and suggesting that the Worlds Collide Tour Leg 2 will commence in late 2026, so I would assume they are waiting on the new songs from the Descendants Wicked Wonderland movie to drop, and then they're going to add it into Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour, which I'm incredibly excited about. And of course, Liamani Segura is coming in as a new character. She's going to be playing Red's sister in the movie, so I would imagine she's going to be added on to Leg 2 of the Worlds Collide Tour. So not only are we going to see the return of your favorite stars for Leg 2, but we're also going to see the introduction of new characters into the Descendants franchise, which I'm incredibly excited about, because it presents the opportunity for new storylines, fun times for fans, and I think that after we get to know Liamani Segura, I think we're going to have the same amount of appreciation we had for her as we do for Ruby Rose Turner. So as much as I miss Ruby Rose Turner, I'm going to try to get used to seeing Red with a sister named Pink. Liamani Segura has been referred to everything, even a mini Bridget. I think that's a bit of a disrespectful thing to call her, because it's not really giving her much of a chance. I, for one, want to give Liamani Segura a bit of a chance, and more of a chance than what a lot of critics on YouTube are trying to give her, because I think that a lot of people are trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, but not enough, and I think that never enough credit can be shown for somebody new in the franchise, because I think someone new coming into a franchise offers a lot to a franchise, because as I just said, there's an opportunity to create new storylines. And I love creating storylines. All of my lifetime, I've loved reading stories, I've loved reading novels, and I've lived on this island for forever. So there are a lot of stories associated with mermaids and pirates from this island that I live on. So because of ghost stories that I've heard for years, it makes me really excited to be a part of Zombies 5, because of course pirates have even found their way into the conversation for Zombies 5. So knowing that pirates even have a chance to show up in Zombies, that makes for an exciting time for me as a fan of zombies, because I remember the original Zombies movies just focusing on the basic characters, like the concept of zombies and humans trying to coexist in one world that nobody ever thought possible. And I know years ago people never thought this would fly with Disney, but Disney was really coming into a different generation that was represented by the Marvel Multiverse, and I know a lot of people checked out of the Marvel Multiverse years ago. I was the biggest Marvel fan in the world. When Stan Lee passed away at the age of 95, I was heartbroken. I was going around with my head up in the clouds, looking up at the stars, hoping that Spider-Man was going to jump down from out of the universe and save me. And I know that's pretty much unrealistic, but I remember when Stan Lee passed away, and I was heartbroken over it because I didn't think anyone was going to be able to represent the Marvel Multiverse like Stan Lee was able to do. He made me a true believer in all this stuff for sure. You know, a true believer in the Avengers, Spider-Man, whatever. So you know, I never, while many of you checked out of the Marvel Multiverse, I stayed with it for forever and always, because I was the biggest superhero fan ever. DC and Marvel have forever and always held a special place in my heart. So seeing Disney come out with these sci-fi musicals such as Zombies forever and always has held a special place in my heart. And I wanted to give it a chance. While others resorted to criticizing the franchise Zombies, saying this is never going to amount to anything, this is never going to go anywhere, this is not going to go places, I wanted to take a chance on Zombies because I saw the potential that existed in a star like Meg Donnelly, because Meg Donnelly showed up and Zombies ultimately became her life and what her world revolved around. And I had so much respect for her because she came from a family with no acting background whatsoever, no interest in the entertainment industry whatsoever. They just wanted to pursue their daughter's dreams of being an actress, and Zombies provided her with an opportunity to really break out and become that breakout star she's always dreamed of being. And now Meg Donnelly is, you know, putting up with the constant struggle of producing an album independently, which is always and forever a constant struggle, which I give Meg Donnelly a profound amount of credit for. But I just want to say this, Dying Art has a lot of really great music on it, and every morning on my playlist a song from Meg Donnelly's Dying Art always shows up there. It's either that or a song from the Tangled TV series like Wind in My Hair, which I always listen to and have developed a consistent habit of listening to because it's a beautiful song, it's a beautiful soundtrack. Disney's always had this way of putting out beautiful soundtracks, and Descendants: The Rise of Red had a very different vibe when it came to the music. It was very different from songs like If Only and Space Between from the original Descendants soundtrack. I think that Rotten to the Core ultimately became everybody's favorite song and Ways to Be Wicked, but Rotten to the Core introduced us to the VK kids and what Descendants was going to represent for the next decade. And because of songs like Rotten to the Core and Ways to Be Wicked, Descendants went on to become one of the most revered musicals of all time. And this is coming from a guy who was a huge fan of High School Musical, a huge supporter of Hannah Montana, and I never ever thought Disney was going to top the success of Hannah Montana and High School Musical. While Hannah Montana went on to become the greatest teen idol of all time and the greatest Disney legend of all time at such a young age, I think that the Descendants cast is definitely well in line for becoming some of the greatest of all time because of the memories they've created, all the magical moments, because Descendants was an opportunity to create magic. And I think it inspired people that every chance you have to create magic, you have to take full advantage of it, because chances to create magic only happen once in a lifetime. So when we saw Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson lighting up the set of Descendants, this was an opportunity to create magic, and Disney took full advantage of it. So they did everything they could. It wasn't that the Descendants stars weren't happy, it was just they felt as if they had told a story and completed it, and telling a story without Cameron Boyce wouldn't have been the way to go. I think that Cameron would have always and forever wanted the legacies of the Descendants stars and the Descendants franchise to live on for forever. There's no doubt in my mind that if they would have continued to tell a story without Cameron Boyce, that's exactly what Cameron Boyce would have wanted. Because I remember him on Jesse, I remember him on Bunked, and I remember him being so honored to be in the presence of the people that he worked with. It was never about Cameron Boyce. He was one of those guys on Disney Channel that was in a generation where there were a lot of arrogant guys that were showing up on Disney like Ross Lynch and Zac Efron that I wasn't really a big fan of, but he was somebody who I was particularly fond of because I could never say enough good things about him, because it was never about Cameron. It was always about bringing the best out of everybody he worked with, from Peyton List to Debbie Ryan. He did such a fabulous job. And then he went on from there to Dove Cameron, to Sophia Carson, that he never failed to put a smile on somebody's face. So I think the greatest way of honoring his legacy is to carry on the legacy and the momentum that Descendants continues to ride on into the foreseeable future, because these characters that people like Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker are bringing to life are absolutely extraordinary, and they're so fun to watch. This new franchise presents a vibe that is really cool, that is really fun, that is really out there, that is way beyond predictable, and I am so excited for the future, because I look forward to seeing a character that Malia Baker brings to life, the daughter of Cinderella and Prince Charming, that I never ever thought she'd be able to do. Because I remember her on shows like Are You Afraid of the Dark, and they were very different characters from Descendants franchise characters, and she did such a fabulous job, because the daughter of Cinderella had no backstory whatsoever. Cinderella had a backstory with her relationship with her dad. For those of you who saw the live-action movie, Disney did a fabulous job using 1 hour, the 2-hour production, to really put out there, what kind of story Cinderella had with her dad and stuff. But I think that, turning things around and trying to represent a villain's, or a princess's daughter was very difficult to do in this era. So I think that people like Malia Baker and Kylie Cantrell did a fabulous job. And I just fell head over heels in love with Kylie Cantrell's portrayal of the character Red, because ultimately the Queen of Hearts was a villain that everybody just was extremely annoyed by. If anything, she was the most annoying Disney villain in the history of Disney villains, and nobody could ever stand the Queen of Hearts. So I think that the way that Kylie Cantrell brought this character to life and made her so fearless and so strong, it's something that she deserves a profound amount of credit for, and I will forever be supportive of Kylie Cantrell. I don't know why people love to criticize Kylie. Perhaps it has something to do with her success and how she was a huge star on Raven's Home, working alongside legends like Raven Simone and Rita Ora, eventually in Descendants. Kylie Cantrell's resume speaks volumes of how far Kylie Cantrell's come. But the thing that I like about Kylie is that Kylie's just an everyday person. She's like an everyday individual that you could approach and have a 3-hour conversation with over the phone. She's somebody, honestly, I love to call every single night and just ask her what's up, how she's doing with her life, how her day's going. She's somebody I would love to stay up till 3 a.m. talking with on the phone just to get to know. And I think that's something that a lot of Disney stars kind of, get lost in the idea of, I'm famous, I'm too big for this kind of thing. But Kylie Cantrell is somebody who just perceives herself for who she is. And I have a profound amount of respect for that, because not only did we see her as the Red character on the set of the Worlds Collide tour, but we also saw her represent herself. So she was kind of, doing the whole Hannah Montana thing. Half the show is Red, half the show is Kylie Cantrell. So it was kind of like a best of both worlds, meet Kylie Cantrell kind of thing. And the same thing was done for Freya and Skye, and that's why they became so overwhelmed with emotion, which I really appreciated. I love when I see stars come out on stage and they get to this point where they break down and they become overcome with emotion. And I think that's something that really allowed us to be introduced to Freya Skye. And the cool thing about Freya is Freya has a long way to go. And I'm just excited to be a part of it. I'm excited to be here to commentate on Freya Skye for the next 15 years. And even if that means I have to create a zombies video every day for the rest of my life, I will. Because I have the time of my life talking about Freya Skye. Her outfits are amazing. Her music videos and the way they're collaborated are incredible. The way they took concert footage from the Worlds Collide tour showing behind-the-scenes footage of Freya Skye having fun. I can't seem to get enough of seeing these stars having fun, because they've seen their fair share of criticism, and I just wanted to kind of alleviate the pressure that's on their shoulders, because nobody knows what their life is like. I mean, they're constantly in front of a camera, they're constantly in front of a makeup artist, and they spend hours getting plastered with makeup. So I don't think there's any worse feeling. It's bad enough that you're spending hours getting plastered with makeup to be in front of a camera, 24 hours of a 24-hour day, and then have to face all this criticism from people who are just filled with jealousy of your profound success. I mean, people like Kylie Cantrell and Freya Skye were destined for greatness. They were destined to become great, and they were destined to become inspirations. I mean, if you told me you weren't inspired by Red, you weren't inspired by Chloe, you weren't inspired by Nova, I think you would be lying to me, because I'm almost 40, and I am still inspired by Kylie Cantrell as I was when I was 25. I feel like I've been watching Kylie Cantrell all of my life. I remember watching her on YouTube, being this cute girl who wanted nothing more than to review her favorite shows, iCarly, Sam and Cat and Victorious, and I found that really cool, because I was the biggest Victorious fan in the world. I had the biggest crush in the world on Victoria Justice. I had a never-dying crush on Ariana Grande. I knew she was destined for greatness. I'm incredibly excited about Wicked for Good this November. I'm going to be getting tickets for that. I don't know who's going to go with me. I'll probably be a loser going to this movie by myself, taking the bus. But I have no issues taking the bus to see Wicked for Good because I'm a really big fan of Ariana Grande. So hearing Kylie Cantrell reviewing shows like Victorious and Sam and Cat really was a flashback to my childhood. I remember when, actually I was a lot older than a child watching Victorious, but I did it because I thought Victorious was the greatest cast ever put together that had ever been brought together for a kids TV series, and they were very deserving of the favorite kids TV show of 2012 because they really were. The greatest cast of all time, as far as I'm concerned, was Victorious. And I loved hearing Kylie Cantrell being so fond of this and drawing inspiration from this kind of thing. I love how she loves to dance. I love how she loves to sing, because that's all she ever wanted to do. And Disney has done a fabulous job marketing her, but I really think that the spotlight sometimes really gets the better of these stars because they don't really get the chance to perceive themselves for who they are. So I think the opportunity to kind of break character for her in the Worlds Collide tour was what she needed. And I think more opportunities in the future to perform as herself, promoting her own EP off of the Descendants stuff, will be an opportunity for Kylie Cantrell that I think she should take full advantage of. Because when we're criticizing somebody like Kylie Cantrell, we have nothing else better to do with our own lives. That is something that I, as a YouTube creator, have realized. When we criticize people like Kylie and Freya, who are just really putting their hearts behind their performances, I've come to realize that we don't really have a whole lot to do with our own lives. I think what we should do is be on YouTube, praising up people like Freya, Skye, and Kylie Cantrell more than we ever have. And it really is an honor for me to be here talking about Kylie Cantrell and Freya, Skye, because I see the potential that exists with them. And I know you do too, because you're crazy about Descendants, you're crazy about zombies, and this is why this YouTube channel is here, because we're all huge fans of Descendants and Zombies. I wouldn't be here if I wasn't a fan of Descendants and Zombies. I just took a chance on these franchises, having not realized the popularity of it. Girls were showing up at my door every year on Halloween telling me to go watch Descendants and Zombies, and I took it under advisement, and then when I finally sat down to watch it, I said, yeah, this has stuff really happening for it. This has potential. I loved it. I loved everything about it. The music, the script. My girlfriends probably never understood anything about Descendants or Zombies, but I knew that I fell in love with it, and I was falling more in love with it every day, and that's why I'm here, and that's why you guys have become my greatest friends, is because I just love talking about Descendants and Zombies. There is no guy on YouTube that loves talking about Descendants and Zombies more than what I do. This is the greatest honor of my life. So how this show is going to work today, I have some pre-recorded footage that I have to upload for tomorrow morning. So I will upload as many videos as I can throughout the day, and then I will pre-record footage to upload tomorrow morning because I have somewhere I have to be tomorrow morning for blood work. So I will make sure videos are uploaded tomorrow morning on schedule for you guys. So I've got a lot of work to do. If you have not subscribed or liked any of these videos, you're probably going to want to do that because this YouTube channel really has something happening on it for everybody. We talk about everything from Descendants to Zombies to Kylie Cantrell to Freya, Skye to their futures, which I'm trying to really secure. I'm going to be honest with each and every one of you. I love talking about Kylie Cantrell. I love talking about Freya, Skye through securing their futures, which I think is a very powerful way of really putting them out there. I think that a lot of people love to criticize them, and that's because that's all they know how to do. I don't think that people on YouTube know how to say anything nice about anybody anymore, because I think that criticism is the way to go for everybody. So I've kind of tried to shy away from that. So if I'm going to say anything about Descendants and Zombies, I'm going to say good things about it, because it's only 9:01 a.m. and I already have my first podcast uploaded, which is kind of crazy. But that just goes to show how much I love Descendants and Zombies. With tonight being the final performance of the Worlds Collide Tour, they're going to go out with a bang, and I'm going to make sure that we go out with a bang talking about the Worlds Collide Tour, because this has been a summer that I will never ever forget, because I had the honor to meet each and every one of you throughout the course of this summer, and it's a summer that I will never ever forget and forever and always cherish because of Descendants and Zombies. Zombies 5 is not suggested to have a release window up until 2028, and Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland is forthcoming this summer. July 2026 is going to be huge. So I am really excited to be along for the ride on this incredible journey that you girls have had me on for what feels like forever, because this really is the greatest honor of my life, to be able to talk about Descendants and Zombies in the way I believe it's meant to be talked about for a very long time. And I have a lot to say where Descendants and Zombies goes, because I see the potential in Descendants and Zombies. I see how much you guys love it, how much you appreciate it, so I felt as if you guys have deserved far better videos and commentaries than what you've been seeing on YouTube. When you're watching the same 5 videos about Descendants and Zombies, that doesn't really say a whole lot, because if you're watching the same 5 videos, that means the content is not really there on YouTube for you to find time and appreciating, and I just wanted to give that to you guys because I am the biggest Descendants and Zombies fan in the world. I may not have the merch as backdrops for my videos for Descendants and Zombies, but I am the biggest Descendants and Zombies fan in the world, and I have a lot to say where that goes. So we're going to be talking about everything today about the Worlds Collide Tour, the Contrell, Freya, Skye. I'll mix it up as much as I can from Descendants and Zombies videos along with pre-recording content for tomorrow morning, because this YouTube channel will forever and always be here and be a part of your life. When it comes to Descendants and Zombies, this is your one-stop source for Descendants and Zombies, everything discussed about Descendants and Zombies, and I would love for you to be a part of it. So if you have not subscribed, you're probably going to want to do that as long as you keep your dreams alive. That's all I've ever wanted you to do, because I've always wanted you to forever and always believe and hold on to dreams that you have. No matter what that dream is, it can happen for you, because you only have one life to live and you only have one opportunity to make a dream count. So I just want to be here to help you guys make sense of everything Descendants and Zombies, because I too am just like each and every one of you. I know what it's like to be a huge fan of Descendants and Zombies, and I think there's no better way to show that you're a fan, to showcase that you're a fan of Descendants and Zombies, than by showing it the passion and the dedication that it deserves. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will be back in just a few hours from now to talk more on Descendants and Zombies. I am really excited to be your voice of Descendants and Zombies for the foreseeable future, or just for a little while longer, if you will do me that honor, because I really do love talking about Descendants and Zombies and being right here with you, because there's no place in the world I would rather be than being your host of the Descendants and Zombies podcast on YouTube. So don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. I will return in just a few hours from now with more to say on Descendants and Zombies, because it's really the way of life. It's Descendants, Zombies, or die, because we're going out as supportive as ever of this niche, and I love it so much. Bye, YouTube. We will talk again in just a few hours from now.